Hello, engineers. Today you'll be designing custom drink coasters using Inkscape and our laser cutter. Here's the plan. First, you'll do a bit of research to find inspiration and identify key features for your coaster. Then, you'll brainstorm and sketch two different design ideas. Once you have your concept, you'll create the digital version in Inkscape, using vector paths for cutting and engraving. After setting up the laser cutter with the right settings, you'll bring the design to life. Finally, you'll reflect on your finished product, give and receive peer feedback, and submit your files. Ready? Let's get creative.
The first thing you'll want to do after your brainstorming or even during your brainstorming is go to Google Image Search and search for laser cut coasters. And you'll see in the images so many interesting designs. And this is a great way to get started and start feeling inspired and getting inspirational ideas, getting ideas that are starting to match what you and your partner are going to create. And what you'll do is you'll then decide on what route to take. You're either going to create it from scratch or use a pre-made template. This video is going to show you how to make a pre-made template. So what we'll do is we'll look up, for example, laser patterns, laser patterns SVG. And you'll see a lot of black and white line artwork, and that's exactly what we want. So for example, let's click on this one. Since it is circular, kind of like a coaster would be. Coasters can also be square. So let's see, laser cut SVG files. And then something that happens to me is I just kind of get lost and searching a lot. And I don't want to do that. Let me go back. Laser cut coasters SVG. Okay, so again, laser cut coasters SVG. I'm still in images. And let's say I'm doing this on the fly, guys. This is very much winging it right now, showing you my own process of how I might find something. I really like patterns. So something like this would work, but we need the black and white picture of it. Here we go. So something like this. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for a black and white image, graphic image, and what you're going to do is just leave that on screen right now, and I'm going to minimize that. On your computer, you should have on the desktop the software called Inkscape. If you don't see it, search for it and open it. If you don't have it at all, make sure you tell me so I can install it on your computer. I'm going to double click that to get it opening. It might take a moment. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. You will most likely come to a screen that looks like this, where it says Browse for other files. What we're going to do is go ahead and click on that New Document button, and it should open up the Inkscape software. I don't know what yours is going to look like when you open it, so go to View, and let's see, Display Mode, Normal. Let's make sure we're there. And then guides are checked on. Show hide, make sure all of these are checked on. Widescreen, make sure that's checked on. And yeah, okay. So for here, I have this thing open. I'm gonna just move that over here. And what we're gonna do is we need to set up our canvas here. So there's a white area, that's our workspace, or our canvas. That's where we can create our images that we're going to cut. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Document Properties and click on that. And what you'll see here is information about the page. So click on this drop down menu right here. We want it to be on inches. And then the display units, we also want that on inches. And what we're going to do is the width is going to be 24 and the height is going to be 12. So type those numbers in and click on the little X right there. Now, using your computer mouse, you can hold down the computer mouse and you can see that this is moving the little world around. Hopefully on the right side you have the same exact layout here. And let's see, what does this button do? This is that's the button I'm looking for. So this button right here, that is called, I'm hovering over it, come on. It's called Zoom Page, Zoom to Fit in Windows. And in parentheses, it's showing a 5. If I press 5 on the keyboard, it will, it will zoom out and show you the whole page. Why did I pick 12 by 24? That is the size that I can laser cut on the laser machine. So a sheet of wood or paper must be 12 by 24 if I want to cut all of 12 by 24. Obviously I can cut on smaller sheets of paper, but this is your limitation, right? This is your constraint. You cannot make anything larger than this. So that's why we set it to 12 by 24. Now with that being said, we're going to make our coaster using the rectangle tool on the left side here. So what you'll do is you'll find the rectangle tool here and you'll click, and then you'll click and drag, and your color might be different here, but leave it alone. What you're going to do next is we're going to find the, let's see, if I click on this button, we're going to click on fill and stroke. So go ahead and click on fill and stroke, and your fill right here, so here's the fill tab. You can click on that little X there and it'll take the fill away. Click on that, it'll make it a color. The stroke paint is the outline color, and you'll see what it did. It changes that. So if I click on that, that's the outline color. We don't want that right now. We will, but so actually since we do need that, go to stroke style, drop down that little menu, and you want it to say point. For right now, make it 1. That's going to change. That will actually change to another number for laser cutting. And then the fill, that needs to be no paint. Okay, so now you can see this stroke there, the stroke color. So again, stroke, leave it on 1 point for right now. It's going to change, so pay attention to the change because otherwise it won't cut on the laser cutter. And then click on the select tool. So far, what have we learned? We learned how to open up the fill and stroke. We've learned how to change the document size, and we've created a rectangle or a square here. Now the selector tool, that if you click off of your shape, now you can't select it, but if you hover over your shape and click, now you can move it around. If you click on it again, you have these rotation buttons. I'm gonna click on undo. I want to undo. No, that's rotate. Where's my undo button? Edit, undo, or Control Z. My layout changed. I don't like this. Oh, here's my undo button. Okay. I wonder if yours looks like mine. This is just like a tech literacy tip. If you don't see it on my screen, it's probably still going to be on your screen, like vice versa. Like my tools are over here, your tools might be up here or on this side. Just take a moment to look. So like there's my undo button. It usually was up here. I must have updated. Anyways, so selector tool, you have your rectangle. Right above, you should see some more information here. You see a W, that's your width, an H, and that's your height. What we want to do is make that 4 and 4, and you'll notice right here it should be IN for inches. So that's the size of the coaster here. Okay, and now this coaster will have sharp corners. If you want to have rounded corners, what you'll do is you'll click on that rectangle tool again while your original rectangle was selected, and now you have this button right here, this little circle. If you click and hold on it, you can actually make your coaster totally round or semi-round, a little bit round, whatever you want. Okay, now click on the selector and then click on the canvas so that there's nothing selected. Okay, let's go back to, where is it? Here we go, the coasters. So this says free patterns. I'm assuming it's safe to use that. What I'm going to do is right click, open link in new tab, and then right click, open image in new tab. So why did I do that? I went to the link to see what else they might have to offer. It looks complicated. I don't want to think about that. So here's the image. Now on the image itself, I'm going to right click, copy image. Again, so right click, copy image, go to Inkscape, right click, paste. There's your image, and we can't actually use this. We need to turn it into an individual drawing here. Otherwise, the laser will just etch all of that, and we either might want that or not want that. Zooming in by clicking on the mouse wheel, and if I hold down on the control key on my keyboard with my left hand, I can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out, and then again press 5 on the keyboard to find the zoom all. With this here, with this pattern here, what I want to do is trace it. So I'm going to go to path, click down path, I'm going to click on trace bitmap, and all of these settings, they should just be left alone. And I'm going to click update preview right here and then apply. And now what that does is I'm going to hover over a black part of that line and click and drag this way. I'm going to press 5 and keep clicking and dragging this way. Okay. Now I turned a bitmap image into vector art. So what I can do then is click on that, press delete on the keyboard, click on this, and I'm going to zoom in. And you'll notice that it's not perfect, but for right now this is fine. And what I want to do is decide which one I want to use. I'm going to use this one right here. So now here's where things get kind of crazy. Under the selector tool is the node tool. So I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to click on all of that, and now you'll see the thousands of nodes making up this image. Don't get overwhelmed. Try not to get overwhelmed. But what you're seeing is all of these little points. And what you want to do is we want to get rid of them. So I want to get rid of the bottom two first. So using the node selector, I'm going to move my mouse to this area right here, click and drag, and try not to touch any of the nodes that are on the one I want, and I'll let go and then I'll press delete on the keyboard. Now things can get really wonky here. Stuff is going to move, stuff's going to pop, it'll look like crazy images sometimes. Just keep going. So click and drag on the nodes that you don't want. So for example, let's say I only selected half of those and I press delete. See what it does? It like makes a big blob. Don't worry about it. Keep clicking and dragging across what you want to delete and press delete on the keyboard. I'm clicking down on my mouse to zoom in. I'm going to highlight the rest of this and press delete on the keyboard, and then press the number 5 on the keyboard. Click on the node selector, or I'm sorry, not the node selector, the selector tool, and now I have this right here. Whew. So that just happened to be a good size to place on the coaster, but you might have had something larger, and the way to fix that is you click on the shape, hold control on the keyboard, and then click on one of these corner arrows, and that'll keep the proportion. If I let go of control, watch what happens. We get all these crazy shapes that we don't want. Okay, now I'm going to press Control Z to undo all that. Okay, now we need to check this. We need to make sure that this is not going to actually cut. I want this to be an engraving, not a cut. Because if I were to cut this, it would just be one big hole. And I'll explain that one-on-one if you have questions about that. But here we go. So the infill, so right here, I'm going to click on fill and stroke, or you can find the little drop down menu, fill and stroke. Go to the fill tab. The fill should be black. The stroke should be off. No stroke. That's really important for engravings. Engravings, if you have a stroke on them, it's going to cut it out, and then you're going to ruin the wood piece that you have. Okay, so now this is almost ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll click on the shape here, and it can't be bigger than 4 inches because the coaster's 4 inches. So I'm going to just scale it down. I'm holding Control, clicking on the corners. And now I want to align this so that it's perfectly in the center here. So again, I'm going to click and drag across both of those things, both of those shapes. And now I'm going to find the Align and Distribute menu right here. I'm going to click on that. Where would that be here? There's so many ways to do stuff here. Where would Align and Distribute be? Well, anyways, all your tools are over here. So, Align and Distribute. With that menu open, where it says Relative to, you can align to the page or selection area. So for us, we want to click on Selection Area, and then we're going to find where it says Center on Vertical Axis. Click that, and then right below that, Center on Horizontal Axis. And what that does is it centers it. All right. So at this stage, you have one coaster design that is almost ready to go. Remember when I said earlier we're going to change the thickness of this line? Let's do that now. So you'll click on that outside shape, click on Fill and Stroke, click on Stroke Style, make sure that your drop down menu here is set to point. And look, see how it changed? We set it to 1, but look, it changed to 1.3. So we got to always check this right before we go send it to the laser. This should be 0.072. That is the magic number that works with our laser cutter. This is different for other laser cutters. It depends on the machine, it depends on the software. So for us, Inkscape sending to our laser cutter is 0.072. Press enter, and now look, it looks like you can't even see it. That's okay. What you'll do next then is go to File, Save As, and this is your first coaster. So coaster 1, and then your initials. And notice the Save As type is an SVG file. SVG files are laser cuttable files, or the SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphic. Save. And then that's the file that you'll send to me. You're going to email me that. Once I have that file, and once you're at the correct stage in your design process, I will teach you one-on-one how to place this file into the laser cutting software, and you'll actually get to press the laser cutter button for it to cut out and engrave. Some of these take a long time. There might be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, depends on your design. So once I have that file, let me know that you've sent it and that you're ready to laser cut. Oops. So I've had a thought. You can keep watching if you want to learn how to customize this a little bit further. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the shape on the outside and make it 1 point again so that I can actually see this. And then I'm going to use the mouse wheel. I'm going to press the mouse wheel in to zoom out. And also I can use control on the keyboard to zoom in and out with the mouse. And let's say I wanted to add my initials to this. I can use the text tool here, and then I can click and drag, and let's just say EC. And now notice there's nothing there. So I'm going to click on the select tool, and then I can click on a solid color here on the bottom. And then I'll just drag that onto the coaster inside of the red. If I wanted to change the font there, I'll click on the text tool again, click on the text menu, and using the arrow keys on the keyboard, I'm going to then go up and down and see which font I like. So like, let's say I wanted to use a fancy one. Click on that. And now that also, let's just make sure the stroke style on this is off and the fill is just on. Okay. So that's one way I can customize this. I can add my initials. I can add other letters, a quote. There's also, you can also do this. Let's say, yeah, since Eagles was on here, go to images. If we go to tools, so when you're in images and you go to tools and you go to color and you look up black and white images, we can actually laser engrave most of this stuff. So for example, that's really cool. I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to go back to Inkscape, and let's say I don't want this design anymore. I'm going to paste it in, so right click paste. Let me press 5 on the keyboard to zoom out. And then again, this, since it's only black and white, I don't need to trace it. I can just change the size. Now, check this out. Since it's a solid image, it's covering that red. What I want to do is find, let's see, lower to the bottom. I'll click on that. And now I'm going to have to eyeball it because this shape is not a symmetrical shape. I'll eyeball it and then try to center it as best I can. And now that I can save that and then upload it to the laser software, and it'll actually engrave that really nicely. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it won't be, I mean, it's a little blurry, but it'll engrave kind of okay. Really, I should use a higher quality image or an SVG image, but I think this might work okay. I should try it. If you want me to try it, come yell at me, and I'll give this a shot. I'm going to save this. Control S is save. Okay, so that was just a little bit extra on the end for people paying attention.